Good morning, everyone. In this video lesson, we are going to study about antenna arrays. The various objectives of this lesson are: we can know about need for antenna array. Why do we need an array? What are the different types of antenna arrays? We can explain in detail about broadside array. We will study about end fire array. And finally, we will study about the binomial array in detail. In the previous class, we have learned about grounded antennas, Marconi antenna, folded dipole antenna. Let us review what we have studied in the last class before going into the present class. Grounded antenna, when the antenna is grounded, we call it as a grounded antenna. The main advantage of grounding the antenna is we can increase the physical length of the antenna. Since the ground is a reflecting surface, it influences the radiation pattern and other properties of antennas located nearer to it. We studied the effect of ground and antenna by considering the cases of grounded and ungrounded antennas. If the antenna is grounded, see here, this is an antenna. When it is grounded, the earth acts as a mirror and becomes part of the radiating system. So we will be getting a mirror antenna here. A grounded quarter wave vertical radiator having wavelength lambda by 2, the lambda by 4. There is a mirror antenna existing whose length is also lambda by 4 and the overall length becomes lambda by 2. Effective length increases. So this lambda by 4 vertical grounded antenna, we also call it as the Marconi antenna. Marconi antennas has one important advantage over the ungrounded. To produce any given radiation pattern, it needs only half the size. On the other hand, since the ground plays an important role in producing the design characteristics, the radiation pattern of Marconi antenna depends on its height and selection of the pattern. And we have the ungrounded antenna when the antenna is placed nearer to the ground, when it is not grounded. When the antenna is very close to the ground, its radiation pattern gets modified on account of reflection from the ground. If the ground is assumed to be perfect conductor, a true mirror image of the actual antenna is considered to exist below the ground. This is the antenna. At certain height, we have an antenna. By the same height below the ground, we assume that there is a mirror antenna existing. There are direct rays and ground reflector rays. These ground reflector rays are nothing but the waves that are propagating through the image antenna. So at any particular distance, we have a receiving antenna. The receiving antenna picks up the direct radiations and the ground reflected radiations as shown in the diagram. So the total field at the receiving antenna is equal to the vector sum of the direct ray and the ground reflected ray. We also studied in detail about Marconi antenna. It is a vertical antenna whose length is lambda by 4. So lambda by 4 grounded vertical antenna is known as Marconi antenna. The main advantage here is it requires only half height of the antenna to produce the same radiation pattern of Hertzian antenna. When it is grounded, there is a mirror image of another lambda by 4 antenna. The effective length of the antenna increases. And we also studied about the folded dipole antenna. To increase the radiation resistance, we are making use of folded dipole antenna. So why do we want to increase the radiation resistance? Because the resistance of the free space, that is intrinsic impedance of the free space, is almost equal to the folded dipole antenna. This is a transmission line. We have one conductor, the other conductor coupled to each other. The current is flowing through it. Due to that, the current is divided equally in the two conductors. Thereby, I by 2 current flows in this conductor, I by 2 current flows in this conductor. Due to that, the radiation resistance becomes 4 times that of the straight half wave dipole. Straight half wave dipole has radiation resistance 72 ohms. Now it is 4 into 72 ohms. So it is almost 288 ohms, approximately 300 ohms. The impedance of the free space is 120 or 277. So there is a better coupling of this antenna with the space. Impedance is matched, so there is a maximum radiation that is converted into electromagnetic radiations from the antenna. And this is a transmission line, feeder line, whose impedance is 300 ohms, thereby better transmission of the signal power towards the antenna. So antenna is also better coupling the signal into an electromagnetic radiations through the space. So with this concept, we will study in detail about the antenna arrays. Why do we require an antenna array? What is the need for antenna array? What are the different types of antenna arrays and application of each and every antenna arrays? We will be discussing in detail in this present class. An antenna array, we have number of individual elements. Individual antennas are called individual elements. An antenna array is a radiating system consisting of individual radiators. Sometimes elements, we call it as radiators. An antenna array is a system of similar antennas oriented similarly to get greater directivity in a desired direction. The main purpose of going for antenna arrays is to increase the directivity. Single array element cannot provide the sufficient directivity in a particular direction. Gain is not that much enough in a particular direction, especially when the transmitter and receiver are far away. We need to increase the gain, direct to gain, or the directivity. Then we can take group of elements of antenna arrays to increase the directivity. So an antenna array is a radiating system consisting of individual radiators. An antenna array is a system of similar antennas oriented similarly to get greater directivity in a particular desired direction. It may be defined as a radiating system consisting of several spaced and properly phased radiators. Group of any combination of elements in a regular geometry. Generally, they are placed equally. However, equal elements in regular geometry are used. So number of elements we can use in equal regular intervals. Why do we need this array? To get greater directivity in a desired direction. That means the total field produced by an antenna array system at a distance from it is the vector sum of the fields produced by the individual antennas of the array system. So individual elements, we have the fields. If the array elements are placed in a regular manner, then the total field is equal to the vector sum of the fields produced by the individual antennas of array systems. And we have antenna said to be linear if the individual antennas of the array system are equally spaced along a straight line. So we have to place the array elements in equal space. So we will be getting the linear array. Uniform linear array is one in which the elements are fed with the currents of equal magnitude with uniform progressive phase shift along the line, along the array of elements. So to get the greater directivity, we are providing antenna arrays. The benefits, we have a possibility to control direction of the maximum radiation. We can increase the maximum radiation in a particular direction. Direction of nulls, we can position the direction of the nulls. Nulls are the minimum energy points. We can increase the beam width. Beam width of an antenna can be controlled. Directivity, particularly the maximum directive gain in a particular direction, we can increase. Level of the side lobes, we can adjust. So these are all the various parameters that we are having the benefits, possible controls when we make use of the antenna arrays. So given an antenna array of identical elements, if the radiation pattern of the antenna array may be found according to the pattern multiplication theorem. So what is a pattern multiplication theorem? Array pattern, that is due to the total system of the antenna arrays. Array element pattern multiplied by array factor. So we have array factor, each pattern multiplied by array factor, which is equal to array pattern. So the radiation pattern is the vector sum of all the individual radiation patterns. Due to that, we will be getting the greater directivity. So what is the need for antenna array? When greater directivity is required than can be obtained by a single antenna, antenna arrays are used. The elements in an array interact with one another to produce a resultant radiation pattern that is the vector sum of individual ones. So we will be getting the vector sum of individual ones. Whether reinforcement or cancellation takes place in any given direction to determine not only by the individual characteristics of each element, but also by the spacing between the elements and the phase difference between the various speed points by suitably arranging an array. It is possible to cause pattern cancellations and reinforcement that will result in the array having strong directional properties. Reinforcement in a particular direction, cancellation in the other direction, unwanted direction is the most important part of it. The directive gain in a particular direction can be increased by making use of antenna arrays. That is, we are getting array pattern, which is the product of array element pattern with the array factor. Array element pattern, this is the pattern of individual array element. So pattern of individual array element multiplied by array factor. What is an array factor? A function depends only on the geometry of the array and the excitation. Geometry means the physical structure of the array, and excitation means the amplitude, and we also consider how much amplitude we are applying it to the various individual elements of the antenna, and we also take into account of the phase. So how much phase the antenna array elements are fed for the radiation, for getting the desired radiation pattern. So this array factor, it depends on the geometry of the array elements and also the excitation, that is the input signal that we are applying both in amplitude and phase. Array configurations, antennas with a given radiation pattern may be arranged in a pattern. We can arrange in the form of a line. We can arrange the elements in the form of a circle. There are different arrangements. We can arrange the elements in the form of triangle. Take 3 elements, arrange in a form of triangle. rectangle, 4 elements you take, arrange in the form of triangle. So we can arrange the elements in the form of line. All the elements are placed parallel. All the elements are placed perpendicular. Elements placed in a circular manner. Elements placed in a triangular shape, and elements placed in a rectangular shape, and etc. We have many arrangement configurations, and these arrangement configuration depends upon how the radiation pattern we want to yield the desired different radiation pattern we are getting. So this, based on the desired radiation pattern, we have the arrangement of these radiators. So we have array configurations, linear array, as we have already seen. An antenna is said to be linear if the individual elements of the array system are equally spaced along a straight line. Take a straight line, put all the elements of the array equal spacing, then we call it as the linear array. So antenna elements are arranged along a straight line, and we have circular array. Antenna elements are arranged around a circular ring. So we can place the antennas to form a circular ring. Planar array. Antenna elements arranged over some planar surface. Example, rectangular surface. It is a planar array. So linear array, the antenna elements are arranged along a straight line with equal spacings. Circular array, antenna elements are placed around a circular ring. Planar array, take a plane, for example, rectangle plane, and elements are placed in over that surface in a planar array. And we have conformal array. Antenna elements are arranged to conform to some non-planar surface, such as aircraft skin. So we are providing ground communication with the aircraft. So body of the aircraft antennas are arranged in such a manner to adjust the body of the aircraft, that is the form of the array elements. Array design variables. Overall array pattern depends on array design variables. General array shape, we have linear, circular, planar, etc. Element spacing, we need to consider equal spacing for linear array elements. Element excitation amplitude, how much level, how much voltage we have to feed it to individual antennas, whether equal amplitude of the antennas are excited, equal level of the voltage levels are excited with the antenna elements, or unequal amplitudes. Element excitation phase, whether one antenna is excited with 0 degrees phase or another antenna excited with 180 degrees phase. So we have various design parameters to get the overall desired radiation pattern of an antenna. Pattern of array elements, in which pattern? Linear, circular, planar pattern, radiation pattern, whether circular or omnidirectional or figure of 8 or in a particular direction. And we have phased array, an array of individual elements which achieves a given pattern through the control of the element excitation with equal phasings. If the phasings are equal, so the antenna elements are arranged so that we can control the excitation of the elements. When the phase shift is equal, same, we can get the phased array radar. It is used to steer the main beam of the antenna without physically moving the antenna. The main advantage of phased array is there is no need for antenna tracking, no need for movement of the antenna. We are not moving the antenna physically. We can adjust the main beam of the antenna, particularly aircraft maintenance, to know about to send the signals from aircraft to the ground station. Now we can make use of phased array radar systems where we can steer the main beam of the antenna without physically moving the antenna. So when greater directivity is required, than can be obtained by a single antenna. Antenna arrays are used. The elements in an array interact with one another to produce a resultant radiation pattern that is the vector sum of individual ones. Whether reinforcement means addition or cancellation takes place in a given direction to determine not only by the individual characteristics of each element but also by with the spacing between the elements. And we also consider phase difference between the various feed points by suitably arranging an array. So in this we have equal phasing. In phased array radar we have equal phasing. It is possible to cause pattern cancellation and reinforcement that will result in the array having strong desired directional radiation characteristics. The directive gain in a particular direction can be increased by using the phased array. The main important advantage of the phased array is without moving physical antenna, we can adjust, we can steer, we can direct the main beam of the antenna to look toward the target. And we have different types of antenna arrays. The first one is the broadside array. We will discuss in detail about each and every antenna array in this particular class. End fire array, the second type is the end fire array. Collinear arrays, then phased arrays, parasitic arrays, binomial array. There are various types of arrangements of these individual antenna elements. The first type of array antenna array is the broadside. Next end fire, we have collinear arrays, phased arrays, parasitic elements, and binomial arrays. So antenna array, if we take any form, it is a radiating system consisting of individual radiators. An antenna array is a system of similar antennas oriented similarly to get greater directivity in a desired direction. It may be defined as the radiating system consisting of several spaced and properly phased radiators. The total field strength produced by an antenna array system at a distance from it is the vector sum of the fields produced by the individual antennas of the array system. An antenna is said to be linear if the individual antennas of the array system are equally spaced along a straight line. Uniform linear array is one in which the elements are fed with currents of equal magnitude with uniform progressive phase shift along the line. So by considering all these factors, by different arrangements, we can classify the antenna arrays into broadside, end fire, collinear, phased array, parasitic, and binomial arrays. Now we will discuss in detail about the broadside array. It is a bidirectional array. So broadside array is one in which number of identical parallel antennas are set up along a line drawn perpendicular to their axis. It is a bidirectional array. We have individual elements of an antenna systems that are set up along a line drawn perpendicular to their respective axis. Uses dipoles feed in the face and separated by lambda by 2 wavelength. So in a broadside array, individual elements are equally spaced along line and each element is fed with the currents of equal magnitude at all in the same phase. By doing so, this arrangement fires in broadside direction. So what is broadside direction? Perpendicular to the line of the array axis where there is maximum radiation and relatively a little radiation in the other direction. So it produces maximum radiation perpendicular to the line of the array axis. So therefore, a broadside array may be defined as an arrangement in which the principal direction of the radiation is perpendicular to the array axis. It is a bidirectional array. The elements are placed separated by wavelength lambda by 2. So the maximum radiation occurs at right angles to the main axis of the antenna. The facing of the uniform linear array elements may be chosen such that the main lobe of the array pattern normal to the array axis. So the main lobe fires perpendicular to the array axis. Fires means produces maximum radiation in the perpendicular to the array axis and relatively little radiation in other directions. So we have to consider the facing of the uniform linear array element may be chosen such that the main lobe of the array pattern normal to the array axis. We have broadside array main lobe at 90 degrees. 90 degrees means perpendicular direction, perpendicular to the array axis. We are getting the radiation pattern. In a broadside array, individual elements are equally spaced along a line, and each element is fed with currents of equal magnitude, all in the same phase. By doing so, this arrangement fires in broadside direction, that is perpendicular to the line of the array axis, where there is maximum radiation and relatively a little radiation in other direction. Therefore, a broadside array may be defined as an arrangement in which the principal direction of the radiation is perpendicular to the array axis. And this is the structure of the broadside array as we have seen. It may be noted that the bidirectional pattern of the broadside array can be converted into unidirectional by installing an identical arrangement behind this arrangement, and we have 1/2 wavelength. The spacing between the elements is 1/2 wavelength lambda by 2. This is one array element, the second array element, third array element, fourth element. These elements are nothing but half wave dipoles, and there is a transmission line, balanced feed. The line is coming like that. It is touching one element of the half wave dipole, the next element of the half wave dipole, and so on. This is another feeder line, another wire of the feeder line. It is touching like this. The elements are spaced equally, so it is called linear array. Broadside array is a linear array, and we are making use of antennas spaced equally. Antenna array elements spaced equally. The antenna elements are nothing but the half wave dipoles, and we apply the signal through the balanced feed line to all the elements of the broadside array. So by doing so, we are getting the radiation pattern perpendicular to the array axis. Broadside elements are spaced lambda by 2 wavelength, that is 180 degrees phase shift. In order to maintain a broadside representation of the field of the elements are fed out of phase. So we have, that is why the fields are phased out of phase. Radiation from all elements summed up at the end, and we will be getting the radiation pattern like this. So these are the antenna elements. We have antenna elements, antennas. The radiation pattern is perpendicular to the array axis. So perpendicular direction, the field is added up, maximum radiation. Perpendicular to the array axis, there are minimum radiations along the array axis. So it produces maximum radiation perpendicular to the array axis. The elements are placed equally, spacing. This is the array axis. Perpendicular to the array axis, there is a maximum radiation. Now we'll see about the end-fire array. This is another type of the array. Similar to broadside array, we have end-fire array. Similar to broadside array, except dipoles are fed 180 degrees out of phase. Dipoles are equal size, equally spaced along a straight line, fed with the currents of progressive phase shift from left to right or from right to left. So the difference here is that there is a antenna current fed progressively from one antenna element to other antenna element. So in this end-fire array, dipoles are equally sized, spaced along a straight line. We are feeding the currents from one antenna to other progressively. There is a phase shift from left to right. We can feed the signal from left to right or from right to left, depending upon in which direction we want to radiate that particular energy. So by doing so, the radiation is maximum at the ends. That means parallel to the array axis. So we are getting the radiation maximum to the parallel to the array axis. Whereas in broadside array, we are getting the radiation pattern perpendicular to the array axis. In some applications, we require the radiation pattern parallel to the array axis. If you are making this type of end-fire arrangement, we are getting maximum radiation along the array axis. There is no radiation at right angles to the plane of the array because of the cancellations. Cancellations are occurring in a perpendicular direction of the array axis, and hence end-fire array produces reinforcement of the field only parallel to the array axis. When there are cancellations at right angles, we are not getting a field perpendicular to the array axis. So end-fire array produces radiation parallel to the array axis. There is no radiation at right angles to the plane of the array because of the cancellations. If you consider a point along line perpendicular to the plane of the array, it is equidistant from all the elements, but the first and third dipoles are fed out of phase and cancel each other's radiations, and second and fourth dipoles also. Cancellation is done perpendicular direction. This is the structure of the end-fire array. We have array of elements. This is the top view, spaced equally. And this is the side view. We have elements here. But how the elements are fed, progressive feeding is there. So we are feeding you from first antenna to the second antenna to the third antenna to the fourth antenna. There is a progressive phase shift. So with the usual dipole spacing of lambda by 4, or we can consider 3 lambda by 4 spacing, not only will there be cancellations at right angles to plane of the array, but also from right to left. We can also make the radiation only in one particular direction, that too in the parallel direction. Not only is the first dipole close by lambda by 4 to some distance point in that direction, but also leads second dipole by 90 degrees, again by virtue of feed mechanism. The radiations from first two dipoles will be out of phase 180 degrees in this direction and will cancel as the radiations from third and fourth, and hence in the particular perpendicular direction the radiation is cancelled out. In the direction from left to right, the physical phase difference between the dipoles is made up by the phase difference feeding. Therefore, addition takes place, resulting in strong unidirectional radiation pattern. See here, this is one antenna, the second antenna, dipole antennas. We can make use of half-wave dipoles. For better impedance matching, we can also make use of folded dipoles. This is the balanced line. Instead of cross feeding here, we are straight feeding. First element is fed. After some phase shift, the second element is fed. After some phase shift, there is a progressive phase shift. Then feeding of the third element, then feeding of the fourth element. You can feed it from left to right, or you can feed the element from right to left. So the max, if we are feeding from left, right to left, the maximum radiation is towards left side. So when we want to radiate the signal towards left side, feed the signal from right, so that there is a progressive feeding through the antenna. So when it is passing through the individual elements, the maximum directivity in this particular direction increases. If we are using more number of elements, and we will be getting more radiation in that particular direction. If you want to radiate the signal from left to right, feed the signal from left, and it is progressively feeding is done, and then the individual antennas will have its directivity. Then we are getting the overall directive gain, maximum directivity is increased. In this particular direction, you are getting maximum radiation parallel to the array axis by using the end-fire array mechanism. An end-fire array is one in which the principal direction of radiation is along the plane of the array and perpendicular to the elements. Radiation is from the end of the array, which is the reason this arrangement is referred to as end-fire array. The facing of the uniform linear array elements may be chosen such that the main lobe of the array pattern lies along the array axis. That is, the radiation is along the array axis, parallel to the array axis. The cancellations are done perpendicular to the array axis. So end-fire array main lobe is at 0 degrees, that is 180 degrees. 0 degrees means right side, 180 degrees means left side. When we are feeding the signal from left to right, it is 0 degrees. When we are feeding the signal from right to left, 180 degrees direction, it is going on. So it is parallel to the array axis in both the cases. Features of end-fire array. The array is linear and resonant because of the resonant elements we have, dipoles we have. It has narrow bandwidth. So use of a single frequency transmission because of narrow bandwidth, we can make use of only single channel transmission. Not useful for reception where the requirement is to be receive the signal over a wide range of frequencies. Since end-fire array is used for only single frequency, it is not suited for reception. Because reception we require many signals to be received. So it is ideally suited for transmission and not useful, that much useful for reception, where the requirement for reception is more over a wide band. This is the structure of end-fire array. This is the direction of the maximum radiation. When we are feeding from left to right, this is the direction of the maximum radiation. When we are feeding from right to left, this is the direction of the maximum radiation. This is the array axis. The elements are placed here. There is a progressive phase shift here. Then we are getting the radiation parallel to the array axis. This is the radiation pattern of end-fire array. So the radiation is a maximum in parallel to the array axis. This is the array axis. So these are the dipoles parallel to the array axis. We are getting the major lobe, minor lobes. These are the minimum energy points. There are some minor lobes also present because of the reflections. The maximum radiation is parallel to the array axis, and these are the points of null. Nulls are the minimum energy points. This is a radiation pattern. You can see for practical end-fire arrays, because the cancellation cannot be done in the opposite direction. There is some radiation in the opposite direction, but the maximum radiation is toward the desired direction, that to ln 0 degrees, that is parallel to the array axis. And there are some minor lobes also present. There will be some radiation in this direction, but maximum radiation, the maximum directivity, the maximum directive gain is parallel to the array axis. That too, in this case, it is 0 degrees. So when we place the antenna in the opposite direction, maximum direction is like this along the array axis. This is the array axis. This is the maximum radiation along the array axis. And there are minimum radiations backward and in the other directions as well. So here we have seen the two types of arrangements, broadside and fire. First element, second element, third element, and so on. We have the current in the first element is I naught. The current in the second element is I naught into e power j alpha. Alpha is the progressive phase shift. Then third element I naught into e power j2 alpha. I naught into e power j3 alpha. There is a progressive phase shift here. So when the elements are fed with the currents from left to right, when the radiation pattern produced is broadside array, perpendicular to the array axis, we will be getting the broadside array. Parallel to the array axis, then we have the end-fire array. So here the elements are placed simultaneously. We will be getting the broadside array. When there is progressive phase shift, we will be getting the maximum radiation along the array axis. As we have seen, this is the end-fire array pattern parallel to the array axis. And this is the broadside array pattern perpendicular to the array axis. Now we'll say about the binomial array. This is another type of array. It is also a linear array of n isotropic point sources of non-uniform amplitude. And we have n elements here. The spacing between the elements is same, so it is a linear array, but non-uniform amplitudes. Amplitudes fed to the individual elements are not same. In this type of array elements, and amplitudes of the radiating sources are arranged according to the coefficients of successive terms of the binomial series. So we have binomial series a minus b whole power n minus 1, which is equal to a power n minus 1 plus n minus 1 by 1 factorial, a power n minus 2 into b plus n minus 1 into n minus 2 by 2 factorial, a power n minus 3 into b square plus so on. N is the number of radiating sources in the array. So if we take 4, we are getting an equation here. The elements are placed in the form of a binomial series. We will see how the elements are placed by seeing the structure of the binomial array. So the basic structure is like this. We have linear arrays, isotropic point sources, non-uniform amplitude. What is the problem with the uniform amplitudes in uniform linear arrays? As we have discussed in the end-fire and broadside, it is found that as the array length is increased, in order to increase the directivity, the secondary and minor lobes always appear in the radiation pattern. With the linear arrays, there is always the secondary or minor lobes present. So when we are trying to increase the directivity in a particular direction, as the array length increases in a uniform linear array, there appears the secondary and minor lobes. But for some applications, a single narrow lobe without minor lobes is desired, which can be obtained by using binomial array. That is the main reason why we go for binomial array. Because we are feeding with non-uniform amplitudes, elements are placed in the form of binomial coefficients. By doing so, we are cancelling out the minor lobes. We are only getting a single narrow lobe without minor lobes. Binomial array is one in which the amplitudes of the elements of the array are arranged according to the coefficients of the successive terms of the binomial series. Binomial array is a non-uniform array since the amplitudes of all the elements will not be equal. So amplitudes are not equal. So it is non-uniform amplitude. This works can be accomplished by arranging the arrays in such a way that radiating sources in the center of the broadside array radiated more strongly than the radiating sources at the edges. The secondary lobes can be eliminated entirely if the following two conditions are satisfied. One is the spacing between the two consecutive radiating sources does not exceed lambda by 2. You have to provide the spacing less than lambda by 2. The current amplitudes in radiating sources from outer towards center source are proportional to the coefficients of the successive terms of the binomial series. So we are arranging the elements in the form of binomial series. When these two conditions are met, the secondary lobes are eliminated and we have only a single narrow lobe for some applications. These are the elements. So if I take only one element, this is the element 1, 1. The binomial array is like this. 1 plus 1 is 2 and place 1, 1 here. 2 plus 1 is 3. 2 plus 1 is 3. Place 1, 1 at the ends. And again 3 plus 1 is 4. 3 plus 3 is 6. 3 plus 1 is 4 and place 1, 1 here. 4 plus 1 is 5. 6 plus 4 is 10. 6 plus 4 is 10. 4 plus 1 is 5 and place 1, 1 here and so on. So we are arranging in the form of a Pascal triangle. If I make use of this arrangement, we have one antenna, one dipole, 3 dipoles at this particular point, 3 dipoles at this particular point, and 1 dipole at this particular point. Suppose if we take this structure, 1 dipole at this point, then 5 dipoles, 5 elements, then 10 elements here, 10 elements here, 5 elements here, 1 element here, so that the cancellations can be done without minor lobes. We have only a major lobe that is required in some of the applications of the transmissions. See, this is the structure of a binomial array. If you take 3 element binomial array, 1, 2, 3, lambda by 2, lambda by 2, it is just equal to the broadside array. If you take 4 elements now, as for the Pascal triangle, as we have seen, 4 elements, 2, 3, 4, 4 elements. This is the arrangement of the elements, 1, 2, 1. If we take 4 elements, 1, 2 elements, 1 element, 1, 2 elements, and 1 element. The spacing between them is lambda by 2. By doing so, we are getting the maximum radiation. If it is broadside arrangement configuration, maximum radiation perpendicular to the array axis, there are no minor lobes. Minor lobes are cancelled out. Only radiation, major lobe is existing. Minor lobes are cancelled out. How the arrangement is done? It is by, if we take 4 elements, 1, 2, 1 is the Pascal triangle of the binomial theorem. So 1 element, 2 element, 1 element. and they are excited like this, the arrangement is made like this, then we can get the radiation pattern. Now let us compare the end-fire and broadside arrays. Multi-element broadside and end-fire arrays. Broadside elements are spaced lambda by 2 wavelength apart. End-fire array elements are of lambda by 2 wavelengths apart and they are fed in phase, whereas broadside fed with 180 degrees phase shift. Radiation from all elements summed up at the end. Broadside, all elements are fed with currents of equal magnitude and phase. Uniform linear array, radiation pattern is bidirectional. Major lobes is perpendicular to the array axis. And we have end-fire array. All elements are fed with currents of equal magnitude, but there is a progressive phase shift. Uniform linear array, radiation pattern is unidirectional, that to parallel to the array axis. Major lobe is perpendicular to the array axis. We have binomial array, non-uniform array. Half power beam width is larger than that of the uniform array, broadside or end-fire. Secondary lobes are eliminated completely. We have only major lobe. In this lesson, we have studied about end-fire array, broadside array, comparison of antenna arrays, and we also studied about the binomial array. So in this class, after analyzing, you must be able to answer these quiz questions. The radiation pattern of end-fire array is unidirectional. The secondary lobes are eliminated completely in binomial array. Binomial array is used to transmit only single narrow lobe without minor lobes. Half power beam width of uniform array is lesser than that of binomial array. Now answer yes or no. In binomial array, the amplitudes of the radiating sources are arranged as per Pascal triangle. Binomial array is as per the Pascal triangle. Yes. In broadside array, the maximum radiation is options are given. Normal to the antenna axis. Parallel to the perpendicular to the array axis, we have maximum radiation broadside. Along the antenna axis, there is a maximum radiation for end-fire. This question is broadside, so normal to the array axis. Now, having viewed this particular class, you must be able to answer these questions. Explain about broadside array. Explain about end-fire array. Draw the radiation pattern of broadside array and end-fire array. Explain about binomial array.